Number one for New Country, Cat Country 107.3, 909. Joe Kelly on a Friday morning. We've been talking about this last couple of days. We're happy to welcome to the show. He's on tour with the Zac Brown Band. Mark O'Connor's with us. Good morning, Mark.
All right, great to be here. Thank you.
For people who don't know Mark O'Connor, all you need to do is Google greatest fiddle players ever, and Mark is in the top 2.
Oh, man. Thank you. You are too kind. Thanks.
You've been playing music about as long as I've been on the radio, and I got to tell you, I remember working at a radio station and getting records and CDs in the mail. We get like a Christmas compilation of a whole bunch of different artists. Reba McEntire, Willie Nelson, Mickey Gilley. There'd always be that one instrumental cut, Sleigh Ride by Mark O'Connor.
Yeah.
Always my favorite song.
Oh, thank you. Actually, we put a Christmas compilation together called An Appalachian Christmas, and Sleigh Ride's on it, that old cut, and a bunch of others that I've done over the years. And we tour that every December. The Mark O'Connor Band and special guest. This year, we're going to have Brandy Clark join us on the road for An Appalachian Christmas. Yeah.
Cat Country 107.3. We're talking with Mark O'Connor. Give people an idea of how many you've done. You've done probably 100 of your own albums, close to it.
Man, pretty close, about 45.
And then how many other people's albums do you appear on? Have you ever counted?
Yeah, almost 500.
Wow.
And that's really largely from the 80s to the early 90s. And then I started doing my own thing and released my own albums and toured. But I suppose I could have kept going. I mean, it was like Nashville was really using a lot of my fiddling back then. And we had the show on TNN called The American Music Shop for 4 years, and a lot of people watched that, millions of people. So it was a really incredible time for country music.
Now, how long has the Mark O'Connor Band been in its current form?
Well, it's about 3 years, and my family members all grew up and wanted to play music and became really good. So it includes my son, Forrest, my daughter-in-law, Kate, and my wife, Maggie, and 2 other musicians, Joe Smart and Jeff Saunders. And so 4 O'Connors got together. Actually, we kind of started playing together on this annual Christmas tour, and it's really sweet. I mean, to play with family members on the road, and they're so good.
And you guys have been getting great reactions everywhere you go. You won a Grammy last year.
Yeah, we released our album called Coming Home, and that got the attention of Zac Brown, and he started to produce some songs on us this year and put us on the road with him. So that's why we're in the area. We opened up for him last night and tonight at Camden at the music park there.
And how's that been going around with Zac?
It was fantastic. I was a little nervous on the first date because our band had not played to that big of an audience before. Like my family members, you know, we'd been playing some nice clubs and some halls, but 20, 30,000 people, oh my gosh. But it's working out. They're really,
awesome.
You know, Zac's crowd is, they're music lovers, and a great demographic of young and people up to my age, and they really are into the music. It's really cool.
Mark O'Connor's with us. You have your fiddle. You can play something for us?
Sure, yeah, man. Here's something from, we were just talking about the O'Connor method to teach kids how to play violin and strings, and we're going to have our big camp next week. Here's something, I'm going to do a tune from the book, and then I'm going to start improvise on it.
Awesome.
Florida Blues.
Mark O'Connor live on in our studio, Cat Country 107.3. Talk more with Mark in a few minutes. Cat Country, #1 for New Country, Cat Country 107.3. It's Joe Kelly on a Friday. We have a very special guest in studio. He and his band opening for the Zac Brown Band last night and tonight in Camden. Mark O'Connor is with us. Mark, thanks for being with us here at Cat Country.
Absolutely, thank you.
What's the difference between a violin and a fiddle?
Well, you know, I'm blurring the boundaries of that because I sometimes I call it the American violin, because the music that Americans created on it, going back 400 years ago, you know, during colonial times, but it was, you know, this mixture of European playing, African, South American, even Native Americans were drawn towards the violin and the fiddle that was brought over from, you know, Italy and Ireland. And so I'm blurring the distinctions because this method that I put out for kids and for everybody to learn how to play really doubles down on American music, creativity, improvisation, this beautiful literature, and the range of styles. I mean, country music is made up of so many subgenres, you know, from blues to swing, right? I mean, just think Chet Atkins. I think all the influences that he had that made his country guitar what it is. And same with the fiddle. I mean, bluegrass, of course. Then you've got the Western swing, the Bob Wills sound. And then you've got the Cajun and, you know, ragtime. The spirituals are so beautiful. And the hoedowns, of course.
We're talking with Mark O'Connor. The O'Connor method is being taught all across the country in schools and everywhere else?
Yes, more and more people, and even abroad now. There's a whole section of Germany that's teaching American strings. I guess they're kind of tired of the old German tunes.
And that was your idea behind it?
I think so. I mean, I really, I wanted to start here and see if we could re-engage our kids in America about strings and playing American music. A lot of people discover how cool rock and roll is and other kinds of country music and bluegrass when they're in high school or college. And I always thought it's such a shame that, you know, a little kid when they're 8 years old, they have to wait when they could actually be playing this stuff perfectly. Is perfectly suited for them. You know, tunes like Old Joe Clark and Boiling Cabbage Down. I mean, this is made for beginners. So. Now,
you started when you were 11 years old.
Yeah.
And you won a national fiddling contest at 13. Did you ever go outside and play? You didn't have a cell phone then, I know that.
I did a lot of practicing when I was 12 and 13, for sure. I started on guitar, and I started very young when I was 5. But when I found the fiddle, I just was really inspired by it. And I was, you know, re-inspired by guitar as well. I just started really becoming a musician. And yeah, I mean, I had a couple of great teachers. I was really inspired by American music, and that's why I want to give back to kids. Zac Brown and I have a connection there because we love to put on camps for kids. I mean, that's what he does with the Southern Ground now. And we have our string camp in Charlotte all next week, and we're nearly sold out. So they're
awesome.
Coming from all over the country to participate.
We mentioned you and your band is opening up for Zac Brown again tonight in Camden. Tell us about your band, how you got together, who's in it?
Well, the Mark O'Connor band includes 4 O'Connors: myself, my wife Maggie O'Connor, and my son Forrest O'Connor, and my daughter-in-law Kate Lee O'Connor. And then we have Joe Smart on guitar and Jeff Saunders on bass and banjo. And we assembled about 3 years ago, and to see if it worked, to see if we liked playing with each other professionally, and it just really clicked. And our first album won a Grammy for Best Bluegrass Album. And then that caught the attention of Zac Brown, and I ran into him a few years ago at a festival, and he kind of tapped me on the knee and he said, I got to tell you something. Well, I was 12 years old when I first saw you play.
Wow.
And now, of course, he's filling up baseball stadiums with his music. And so you never know who's going to be in your audience.
Awesome.
I always think every time I step on stage, there could be the next Zac Brown out there, or the next, Mendelssohn or Mozart.
Right.
You never know who's out there, right? And the kids are so important to be inspiring right now to do great in their future, in their lives.
Zac Brown is featured on your band's brand new single called "In My Blood."
Yes, we're so lucky. He took an interest in the group, and he wanted to produce some things on us, a couple of songs. And our first song that we're releasing, "In My Blood," is terrific. I mean, Zac is such a genius in the studio, and he really helped not only our vocalists, but the trio singing from our band, all three O'Connors singing, and it's wonderful sound.
All right, let's hear it. "In My Blood," Mark O'Connor Band with Zac Brown. Cat Country 107.3, Morgan's Evans and Kiss Somebody, 13 minutes in front of 10 with Joe. We've been, this is like the best day I've ever had in radio. Mark O'Connor, greatest fiddle player ever, is here with us. And you're in your band opening for the Zac Brown Band. You got one more date tonight in Camden.
Yes.
How's that been working with Zac and being on the road?
Oh, it's been incredible. It's an incredible enterprise. I mean, they've got, well, first of all, and the band loves this, they've got some of the best catering.
Yes, he likes food.
Zac is a food specialist, and is beautiful cuisine, Southern cooking, everywhere we go. And so you got to watch it, because you can eat a lot on this road tour. But and then Zac, he encourages the musicians in the Zac Brown Band to play with us in the opening act. So we'll get out there and play a few songs, and then Chris Fryer will come out on drums and join us, and Daniel as well in percussion, and Daryl Scott. So the opening set turns into be a jam.
Awesome.
And some of the ZBB members are up there with us, and before they come on and take over the stage. It's really an awesome concept.
If people want to know more about the Mark O'Connor Band and your music, where can they find you?
Oh yes, markoconnorband.com, and we have got social network sites, of course, Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. Check us out. We're posting pictures on the road.
It's been a pleasure, Mark O'Connor. Thanks for being with us on Cat Country.
Thank you for listening.